Right off the back on this A-10 kit, we'll notice we have the iconic Warthog Decals. Now this is an older kit, so it has a lot of raised and not recessed detail. It's got a crazy amount of armament for the wings. Step 1, get Larry, our pilot, assembled. Now put Larry aside and let's move on to the cockpit. I'm only assembling the seat and leaving the instrument panel off so it's easier to paint. Now the cockpit is going to have to get messy before it looks somewhat finished. Now I don't go all out on my interiors, I do it the old-fashioned way, just add a little paint. I can't wrap my head around how some people spend $50 for an aftermarket interior kit. Now I'm dry brushing on some gray oil paint to help highlight the instrument panel. I've still yet to paint the pilot figure, but I'm more worried about getting the entire Warthog together. Now the cockpit on this model is quite finicky to get seated right, but take your time and it can be done. Now that the fuselage halves are connected, we can start in the engine area. Start by adding both the turbines. Now the flow deflectors and mount them to the subassembly. Now we can add the top of the engine covers. And would you look at that, it's starting to look somewhat like an airplane. Our next step on the A-10 Warthog build is the wing. Now the flaps are open, which adds some detail to this low detail model. I can't decide what camo pattern I want to do on this bird. That's starting to really look like an A-10. Now for the stabilizer and fin halves. I've seen many painting process videos for the A-10 Warthog. I'm going to be leaving the fins off until the end. Now we can assemble and mount the forward gear bay before addressing the gap issues on this plane. Any big gaps like the one shown on the engine, I carved to shape before adding filler putty. I'm now adding some Vallejo plastic putty to address all these nasty gaps. I prefer Vallejo plastic putty for the nozzle on the end of the tube. Once these dry, I'll sand them down, then repeat the entire process. The pylons mounted on both wings. Remember, these shouldn't sit flush, some of them should sit slanted. Add a little filler putty and the wings are finished. With all the sub-assemblies of the fuselage complete, we can now assemble the A-10 Warthog. I still have a ton of problems to address, but now it looks like a war machine. While more filler putty dries on the A-10 Warthog, we can move on to the armament. We'll start by building the 6 Maverick missiles, followed by the 8 cluster bombs. One thing's for sure, this A-10 was armed to the teeth. The only pieces left for the A-10's armament are the fuel tank, the napalm canisters, and the ECM. And now we're so close to painting. Now we can tape off our canopy section and move on to priming the airplane black. I couldn't wait to get to this step of the build. I dislike the sprue color, and I wanted to get that plastic putty hidden. I did a really good job sanding the fuselage. You can't even see the join marks. Much better than that dark green color. Now that the A-10 Warthog is fully primed black, we can start by creating some undershades and color variation for the camouflage pattern that will be applied on top. Now I know the recommended approach is panel lining, but this aircraft has such little detail I don't feel like spending the extra time. I almost want to paint the entire aircraft this gray. Before we start the camouflage pattern on the A-10 Warthog, I'd just like to pre-paint a couple areas like the landing gear bays. I'm using model color off-white. Now I'd also like to pre-paint the turbines metallic silver. I'm applying a poster tack mask before applying the first of our tri-color camouflage. I'm starting with dark gray, followed by dark green, and then medium green. It's tedious having to apply the mask, paint, remove, and then repeat, but I find it therapeutic at this step. The tiny bit of gray we applied barely made a difference. Now that all the dark gray camouflage is applied, I decide to apply the lighter green before the darker green. Since this is just a $20 model that I bought, I'm not using the proper paints. I'm just using ones that I have that are close enough. If I were to use the correct paint colors, that would cost more than I paid for the model, and I can't justify that. This is light green applied to the top side only. Applying the green camouflage on the bottom is a little more difficult with the pillars. Because of them, painting is required from multiple angles to get good coverage. Some more mask is definitely on the shopping list. Having to constantly remove it and re-add it to apply the same color is repetitive. What do you guys use to mask your models? We now have 2 of the 3 camouflage colors applied. Moving on to our third color, this finally brings this old 1990s Monogram kit to life. Looking at it, my first color green probably was not my best choice, but like I mentioned before, the proper paints for this old kit would cost more than I paid for it. In the end, it'll be hung in my model train room where everything 1/48 scale goes. I'm gonna have to do some touch-ups, and I think I'm gonna expand on the dark gray color. After all this work to paint the camo, I decided to go with a solid color paint scheme. Obviously, this looks better than this. No big deal, couple hours of my life wasted. Here's before and after. After doing some research online, I found out the speed brakes of the A-10 Warthog were initially painted red. Later models of the A-10 Warthog typically had the speed brakes painted the same color as the camouflage. I could see why they were painted red initially. This would help prevent collisions mid-air. It definitely catches your eye. I'm starting to feel like I'm closing in on the finish line of this build, yet I know I'm so far away. Completely forgot I have a clip set, and this tape method really only works well for road wheels. Speaking of road wheels, I might get more into armor. I enjoy painting it more if I'm being honest. Now that our clear coat has had sufficient time to dry, we can move on to applying our decals. Now, in my 2 years of modeling, I've never ran into a set of decals like this yet. They were kinda yellowed, and they stuck almost instantly, giving you no time to adjust the placement. Oh well, still looks pretty cool for a $20 kit. Scratch cool, looks badass. Although these decals are sticky and don't want to slide, you can pick them back up with a set of tweezers and set them properly. Usually I enjoy placing decals, but not on modern aircraft where there's 100 little decals. Does it bother you the way I say decals? Now I'm gonna spray a thin layer of clear coat over top of the entire aircraft so the decals don't come back off. Now for the wheels of the A-10 Warthog, I'm using an AK Models rubber black paint pen. If you're not using a mask when painting the wheels, you really gotta take your time to make them look cylindrical. Now for the most important part of joining two halves, sanding off the flash. Add a couple touch-ups in off camera, and would you look at that, we have our wheels done. Remember Larry from the start of the video? Well, now we need some paint. Be sure to thin your paints so that you do not overtake the detail below. I'm using a very tiny small paintbrush called a 5-0. All my color choices come from looking up reference photos of A-10 pilots. You can look up photos while each layer of paint dries. Now that we got Larry looking like a real pilot, let's test fit him in the plane. Before installing the canopy, we have to address the area it sits by painting it the same color as the cockpit. I could have used the airbrush, but since the canopy will be in the way, I'm not concerned about brush strokes. Remove that masking tape and pray to God you don't have bleed lines. Time to break out the 2mm masking tape. Now we can mask and paint the canopy. I use a combination of 2mm Tamiya tape and frog tape. Now that both canopies are taped top and bottom, we can go ahead and paint them the same color as the fuselage. I'm now adding the cluster bombs and napalm canisters to the A-10 Warthog. The kit includes extra cluster bombs, so I choose not to use the missiles as they would need to be painted again. Seeing how heavily armed this warbird is, I know I wouldn't want to piss off Uncle Sam. 51,000 pounds of freedom and democracy. Removing mask from canopies is so therapeutic to watch. If you look closely at the canopy, you'll notice I have some bleeds. If you have the canopy off the plane, it's an easy fix. But if I would have had the canopy on the plane when it was painted, it wouldn't be so easy to access. I take a damp cotton bud and gently rub the canopy to remove the bleeds. I can't cement the canopy in place until later. Moving on to the landing gear area, I'm not going to be using Tamiya Extra Thin for this. I'm using model cement. This just makes the piece a little bit more tougher and durable for while I'm working on the model. You could use Tamiya Extra Thin, it's really all preference. It's crazy how this one small step adds a whole new appearance to our A-10 Warthog. Wouldn't you agree? Larry, our pilot, seems to be enjoying it. Starting into the oil weathering on this A-10 Warthog, I'm not going to go too heavy, as this is an older Monogram kit with not much surface detail. Some oil paint will still add color variation to this aircraft. Gently brush each dot of oil paint until it's unnoticeable. I like to do my darker tones before my lighter tones. It's subtle, but definitely makes a difference. We can finally add all our sub-assemblies like Larry the pilot, the tail pieces of the A-10 Warthog. Now for the canopy, I use a small dab of super glue. What do you guys use to install your canopies? The last two pieces to install are the ladder and the ladder door. This is around the 15th model airplane I've built. This wraps up our 1984 Monogram A-10 Warthog build. Like I said, this is probably my 15th model airplane kit. I had a lot of fun building it and look forward to my next. Within a few days, this model airplane will be hung above my massive O-scale model railway with the rest of the airplanes.